Hello, my name is Eric Tecce, and I'd like to dive in today by offering an introduction to the tarot. Now, the tarot is actually something that many try to understand but don't fully grasp. Now, the concept of the tarot is allowing a set of visual symbols, and today's current number sits at 78, allowing for 22 major arcana, as well as 4 suits of 10 plus 4 court cards. So each of these symbols have a variety of, flavors to them. And these flavors all each bring out a nice rich message, however you work with it. Now, with any sort of deck, whether you're looking at the traditional tarot or any sort of oracle, the concept is still the same. You're using essentially a random number generation to allow a shuffle, so that out of all the chances of any particular card to come out, this would be the card chosen at that moment. So in its own right, the tarot or any sort of oracle divination is in its right a synchronistic tool. This synchronistic tool allows for an active feedback within universe's paradigm. This construct, this structure in which our awakened reality takes part in, is provided something in which we are interacting. To a degree, just no differently than a cup of water can receive the intentions that we set out through the waves in which we think. So do the universe in itself. So when anybody's working with the tarot, it's always important to not only cleanse the space, cleanse the self, and allow for quietness to come in, but it's to align yourself and center yourself so that when you are working and tapping into the energies, that you are not influencing or muddying the outcome. At that same time too, not just receiving the cards, but the interpretations of cards is always key and fundamental for understanding what kind of message is being brought to you. Many readers are able to understand the core concepts of what each card is trying to convey through its meanings, but some of the symbolism can be derived through an instance of the reader becoming aware of a certain symbol or a certain visual method. This is actually common for decks that try to go beyond what the Rider-Waite has established. In my own personal deck, you'll see the echoes of that, but there's always elements of more that showcase not only the many symbolisms that talk about the language, but that this visual language is not only rich in a diversity of concepts and knowledge and ways that can provide a message, but it does so in a way without limiting in the same way that language does. Now, with any language, any thought, any sentence that we try to express from ourselves, it is an interpretation to translate the concept, the vision, the identity in which we try to make form of. Not everyone's able to convey that in a very clear essence. So it's important that when we are doing such, no differently than the tarot cards, to allow clear communication as well as conscious reception. This is due to so that you can allow it to be considered as a concept, but you don't have to allow it to take form, take permanence. Because it is provided a reading, you can see the insight that is gifted to you through universe, through that timing. You can ask the questions and work with it. Now, no differently than many other divination tools such as runes or the likes of tea leaves and any other aspects, this form of chance allows universe to act on its moment to best determine. Now, a lot of the, structure that exists within both the tarot and other divinations all come from being able to have generational workings and practice with these types of tools. This is to allow a clearer understanding as well as the refinement of being able to understand the resonances. No differently than the practice of astrology, the practice of the metaphysical resonances that exist all around allow each and all of us to tap into these symbols and to understand something deeper and broader than just the simple message of reading a sentence. And due to this visual language providing something special, it acts to allow something that you work with in your everyday life that is a very practical means, but offers something metaphysical to it. This is due to an extension of who you are and the path you walk. Now, many readers like to prefer their own way of doing things, and that is completely fine because I am an advocate not to support any particular spreads or particular ways of interpretation. Now, interpretations open for one's own experience no differently than how one was to dream. Their local interpretation would be based off their own experiences. And I welcome this in as well in the tarot, because many of us can be provided messages and insights that are welcomed into the awareness. And how we express that is through the vehicle which our very own self is walking through, the very own experience that led us into that moment, so that we can gain that clarity and provide it forward in the messages that many other readers utilize to provide something from universe through the very act of synchronicity. As you can tell, synchronicity plays a very large role in a lot of the things that happen both within our waking reality, as well as the tools that we work with to communicate and understand many of the resonances taking place. Whether you're studying the stars or allowing the shuffle of the cards, these are all meaningful things that allow you to not only connect on a very metaphysical level, but to interpret and understand what dance, what tune is at play, so that we can better approach everything in the best self possible. I thank you very much, and I look forward to our next video. Till then, stay true.